It's been a while since my last update, so I apologize for that. I've been busy with work lately and haven't been able to post here. But with that in mind, I have some good stories to share for today. One of the guys from my company named Gary was outsourced to a small secretive organization for a short project. The details of the project were undisclosed, but the guard who volunteered for this job had to stay in a remote facility close to a small town for 1 month. Now, the organization was pretty shady. They had military personnel guarding the facility and scientists running around, which raised the question of whether a guard was even needed there. Immediately upon arrival, the superiors explained his duties to him. The guard was free to do anything he wanted all day, but once a day at lunchtime, he would need to distribute mint candy to everyone in the facility and make sure they ate it. Everyone, including himself. He was to make sure the mint was ingested by inspecting each individual's mouth upon swallowing. Anyone who refused was to be reported to the superiors. Gary laughed at this initially, but when the superiors assured him that his task was of utmost importance, he knew better than to screw around. Gary followed the rules and made sure to have everyone eat mint every day, which caused him to be shunned by the project participants, since no one knew why they had to do it. Towards the end of the project, however, some people started complaining about frequent headaches, and those same people were later exposed as ones who didn't ingest the mint properly. They were detained for insubordination. Something else happened in the meantime, however, and the company lost contact with the facility. Among all people, Gary managed to contact the company with a simple text message that said, "Something wrong. Send help now." An intervention unit was dispatched right away, but it would be 3 days until they reached the remote area. But before they did, HQ continued trying to contact Gary and the facility, asking what happened. And after days of radio silence, they only got one short text. "Everything okay." When the intervention unit arrived, everyone at the facility was dead. Details were undisclosed. There was a security guard in our company who primarily worked as a driver. His job was to transport company-related equipment like weapons, cameras, uniforms, etc., from one facility to another. This sounds like a normal day-to-day job, right? Wrong. As the driver, he took a route which went via an old road and saved a lot of time. But he had a bunch of rules he had to follow. Before he was hired, he had a simulation of the drive in order to see if he can follow all rules. Here are the rules as listed by HQ below. Start driving at exactly 9 p.m. when the alarm in the vehicle goes off. Not a minute sooner, not a minute later. Keep all doors locked at all times, and keep your seatbelt off for a quicker exit in case of an emergency. The road is straightforward, and there are no turns, so if you see a forking in the road, turn your vehicle around immediately and go back to HQ. Do not stop for any hitchhikers under any circumstances, even if they are in fatal trouble. If you see headlights suddenly appearing behind you, speed up. Ignore any sounds from the back of the vehicle. You may hear banging, growling, or clattering. Don't stare at the rearview mirror for longer than 3 seconds at a time. If you see something running along with your vehicle on the side of the road, ignore it no matter how close it is, and speed up. It should disappear within 5 minutes. If your vehicle's engine suddenly dies, close your eyes. Try to stay calm and start the engine again. Ignore any tapping on the windows, and do not look at them. Once you go over the yellow line on the road, which is 24 miles from the starting point, you're in the clear. Despite seeing all of this in the past few years of his work, he says he wouldn't trade his job for anything in the world. A guy named Ethan told me about his experience working in the morgue. Now, working in a morgue is bad enough as it is, but working in a morgue outsourced to my company is hell. His job was to take over once the staff were done there at 10 p.m., and just to make sure no one got in or out. He quit after only a month, due to the mental stress he experienced during his time there. He says the company allowed him to do whatever he wanted there, including sleep. However, it wasn't advised, and you'll understand why in a moment. Ethan said that on a good night, he'd hear people screaming from the body chambers, begging to be let out, and that they were placed there by mistake. While there was no strict rule about opening the chambers, it would probably be nerve-wracking to do so. The problem was, however, that once the bodies started screaming, the only way to stop them was to pull out the chamber. Immediately upon coming into view, Ethan would be faced with a cold, dead, unmoving body, and silence would return to the room. He said that often, when reading something or getting sleepy, he'd feel a strong grip on his shoulder, or hear a loud "boo" in his ear. There would never be anything around, though, but you can see why sleeping there would be impossible. He'd often see a body chamber pulled out on his way back from the bathroom, and if that were the case, his job was to push it back in immediately. There were some other rules, but all in all, what made him quit was a man in a lab coat he constantly kept seeing in the morgue. The company told him never to address the man, since no morgue workers were there after 10 p.m. But Ethan made the mistake of talking to him on his first shift, and then every subsequent night, the man would silently follow him, always at a distance and never talking, just staring at him. Another guard who worked in a factory complex with a partner told me a story. He said that he'd been working there for about 2 months before things got weird. At the start of each shift, he'd meet up with his partner and they'd take turns patrolling. The first month, his partner kept complaining of severe insomnia and fatigue, and then one day, just came to work completely fresh. The guy who told me the story said he jokingly told his partner he may have been looking at another person with such a sudden change. That working area was pretty desolate, and HQ would rarely contact them. They just have them submit reports weekly, and that's it. But 2 months after this guy started working there, HQ contacted the guy and told him to bear working alone for just a few more nights, since there's a new guard on the way. The guy asked, "What do you mean, just a few more nights? I already have a partner here." HQ went silent for a moment, before saying that his partner was found dead at his home a month ago. As soon as they told him that, as if on cue, he stopped seeing his partner altogether. He said that he saw a change of at least 5 more guards in the following year.